Breaking news, another day, another nightmare for Equifax. That huge breach of data is far from over. Massachusetts Attorney General has just filed the nation's first enforcement action lawsuit over the company's failure to protect very sensitive and personal information of nearly 3 million residents in the state. Yes, in the state of Massachusetts, 3 million people. Hackers accessed the personal data totally of 143 million Americans. And they did so even after Cisco, we told you this story yesterday, Cisco's researchers sounded the alarm on this vulnerability all the way back in March. They exposed Equifax's security flaw and then passed out a patch back then. Somehow Equifax didn't do it, or they did it, they couldn't figure it out. Somehow it's been a disaster. We also learned today that there was yet a first hack before the one that has been so publicized. It prompted leaders in the business community to today give the company a solid F, fail, in Business 101. Joining me now, one of those business leaders, Fox Business contributor and 32 Advisors founder and CEO, Robert Wolf. Hackers going to hack, Robert. They're going to do that. So you can't blame a company always if they get hacked. Let's put aside all of the issues about when and where and who did the patch and who didn't. What is the biggest managerial mistake that Equifax has made?
I think when you're dealing with a consumer, which they are, and then the privacy of the consumer, which they're at the forefront of that, and God knows, running a bank, we've been at that, and we've had our issues over the years. But when something happens, you have to draw a hard line in the sand, be transparent, and fix it. When they had the instance in March, you put that hard line in the sand, you fix the problem, and you make sure clients know what may or may eventually happen. They let it happen way too many months in between. They did not fix the problem. And then there was other trust issues, how they resolved with it once it happened. You had various people sell stock. That doesn't give people feeling good about the company during this time. And so I think that I'm sure the CEO would say they handled it in so many different ways. Unfortunately, there's no mulligan. There's 143 million people that have been breached. 3 million
of them in Massachusetts. And Massachusetts has now filed this major move. And there are, I stopped counting, 50 class action suits that have been filed, not to mention more than 30 attorneys general are on this case. Companies have come back from this, but let's look backward. How this could have all been avoided. And I'm talking about the blunders post-breach discovery.
Yeah. I think, first of all,
we only found out July 29th.
Listen, I think what you said, your premise was there is hacking going on, and unfortunately, even the best companies can be hacked.
Of course.
But it's what you do at that first sign. And when you are, like I said, when you're in the consumer space and you're giving your Social Security and tax IDs and all of that information, and you really are one of the large three, right? There are three that own a disproportionate amount of the business when it comes to those credit reports. So that being said, you have to fix the problem, and you got to do everything you can continually to fix the problem. And they didn't do that. You could argue in some ways they may have turned a blind eye. In some ways they didn't.
They didn't let people know right off the bat.
They didn't let people know.
And the stock has taken a huge hit, $6 billion in market cap at least, slashed. I believe today it's just flat to slightly higher. But
well, the question is, what's next, right? Even are banks going to do business with them? How are individuals being treated now that this has happened? I've heard that a lot of people aren't happy with the postmortem that's taken place.
Well, also, their helpline in the wake of all of this apparently was either disconnecting people or was busy. The website crashed. And you can only imagine that that was part of the F that they're getting in Business 101 on how to deal with these things.
I was hacked during the whole WikiLeaks stuff with Podesta, and I felt totally violated. And I was a third party to it.
To his Gmail account.
His Gmail account. So I can only imagine if I was hacked as the primary, how I would have felt. And now that these people are giving their personal information being given out, I mean, listen, you have to trust whoever that credit system is.
Quickly.
Yeah.
We've got another hurricane coming. Possibly huge.
Yeah.
Drones have been extraordinarily crucial in surveying the damage, but you're an investor in a huge drone company. Yeah. It's a massive conglomerate now. You've cobbled together a bunch of drone developers. Could they be used in search and rescue?
Yep. So
Should they be used?
So thank you for asking. And I have to say, I'm co-founder of Measure with Brandon Nicolette. And that being said, we do business with Fox. So I just got to say that because we've done a lot of your work in Hurricane, both Irma and Harvey. We actually are deploying people right now to Puerto Rico. We are busier than busy. We have incredible pilots. They're almost all former military. And we're doing everything from disaster recovery stuff like critical infrastructure inspection to cell towers to making sure people get the broadcast news to getting, to see where schools are post-hurricane to hospitals, everything else. So listen, all of a sudden, drone service, which is what we in, is now in vogue for all the wrong reasons. That being said, drones are incredibly for disaster recovery, rescue, resiliency, delivery. And so we're at the forefront, and we've been working, as you know, since the beginning, 3.5 years on it.
We're going to see more. Great to see you, Robert.
Thank you for having me on.
Robert Wolf, 32 Advisors, and Measure.
Yes.
The drone company, because drones measure everything from
all
water usage
the data.
For crops to now possibly damage from hurricanes.